Good morning, or afternoon as the case may be, class. Today I'm going to teach you about how to mask video with text. The very first thing we're going to do is we're going to navigate over to our bins here. And as you know, this is over here on the left hand side is where all of our media is stored. So you have GarageBand and iTunes things in here. You also have your fonts and titles and generators. Remember, all this is that your generators are under your titles. Those we will cover later on. So first things first, I am going to go and grab some video. And I'm going to get this sun tree to mountain pan. And so what I'm going to do is click and drag across this video until I get about 12 seconds. That's pretty good. After I click and drag across it, I'm going to hit W and add that to my timeline. So you see when I added to the timeline, it actually added it where my player head was, which my player head was right about here when I added that video to the timeline. So I don't want the space at the beginning of this, so what I'm going to do is just click on that and hit delete. Now I'm going to go and add another video to the timeline. This one is going to be the mountain tilt down video. Instead of using W to add a timeline, I'm just going to click and drag across it and then drag that down to the timeline itself. Next thing I'm going to do is bring my titles in. And so for this one, I'm going to use a basic title, and this is quite fine. I'm going to bring that down to the timeline. If for some reason you cannot find your titles, like the basic, just search it and it will come up if you type it correctly, like I just did. And you'll see it'll bring up all the different basic titles. Basic 3D should work as well. Other ones that won't work quite as well will be the ones that have the images blended in with it, such as this or the atmosphere installed title. So now that we have the title on the timeline, you're going to see it's just playing over the top of my video. Well, what I want to do is mask the video underneath it with this font. So I'm going to double click the top layer, which is the basic title here, and I'm going to type in sun over here. You'll notice that this interface is very similar to something like in Word or what have you, and I'm going to adjust the size, but you'll notice the font is a little bit thin, so I can either bold this over here, and remember all that stuff is right over here underneath next to where your font selections are. But instead of just sticking with bold, I think I'm just going to change my font completely to this one. Okay, so what you want is to make certain that this top layer is clicked. You can tell it's clicked because it has a yellow line around it. So once you have that clicked, go over to where your video inspector is, and if you mouse over anything inside of Final Cut and hold it there just for a minute, and what I really mean by a minute is a second, we'll see a little dialogue that will tell you what that is. And I want you to go to the Show the Video Inspector. I'm going to click that. Once you're in this mode, you'll see a couple different things. The very top thing you're going to see is going to say compositing. Right underneath that is blend mode. And then you'll have your opacity and things of that nature. You also have a lot of different things under here in regards to crops and transform, and we'll cover that here in a little bit. So first thing I'm going to have you do is, now that you're in this area, is you're going to go to your blend modes and you're going to choose Stencil Alpha. Once you have Stencil Alpha chosen, you're going to see your what's happening underneath it. And so I have masked the video underneath this title, and it looks pretty good so far. You'll notice though that the video underneath the video that we're masking is not showing up. Our next step is going to make this show up for you. Alright, now utilizing Command, select the video that's being masked by the basic title and the basic title. So you should have these two selected just like this with the yellow lines around the boxes. Now the next thing you're going to do is you're going to hold down Control. It's going to bring up this dialog that says a bunch of different things, but what we want in this instance is New Compound Clip. So I'm going to click New Compound Clip, and I'm going to entitle it something that makes sense to me. In this instance, I'm going to just entitle it Sun, and make certain I'm going to save it in my event FCPX projects. Okay, and after we do that, oops, didn't mean to add the J on it. After we do that, I'm going to hit OK. All right, now you're going to see that the text is masking the video below it, and now you also see the video that's below that text right here. So instead of having that black background, you're going to see what's happening underneath it. Now, what I want you to understand is that you've made a compound clip, and the compound clip is where you've taken the title and the video and you've combined them together. If you double click this compound clip, you're going to go inside of it. This is actually off of your timeline. And so what I want you to understand is that anytime you have a video that's brought in like that, or anytime that you have a compound clip, it's going to be something that you can edit again at a different time. And the way that you edit just by double clicking it. Now, when I double click it, it actually removes me from the timeline. And you'll see, again, I'm back. This is my regular timeline because the name of my project is Blend 2. And so you'll see that it's going to tell you the name of the project right here. Again, I'm going to double click the video. I'm back in here. And now I can go and make any edits I want. So I can change this to sunny. I can adjust the size of it. I can, make it larger or smaller. I can do a lot of different things in here. This does not affect what's happening on the timeline at all. This is in a separate area. This is what subclips, compound clips are for. Pardon me, I didn't mean to say subclips. I meant compound clips. Okay, and the cool thing about compound clips is that when you make a compound clip, you can reuse them again and again. You can tell which one is a compound clip by you see this little icon up here in the corner. That's indicating that there's more to that particular clip. And you're able to reutilize compound clips at any point. So if you ever want to, bring in different fonts or different compound clips, you can. You can put them on top of one another. You're able to do a lot of different things with these compound clips that will allow you to make some more complicated video projects. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and delete this. And now you see here is what my goal was, which is to mask the text, to mask the video with the text, and also see the video that's playing underneath it. Now, now that you've done this, you can do a lot of different things with this video. These compound clips act just like regular video clips. And so I can do things like begin to animate. And this is the second part of what I want you to understand with this, is I want you to do some keyframing. And this is very simple. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to position this font to come onto the screen. And right now I'm going to start with it off the screen. So utilizing my y-axis under transform and position, I'm going to take it off the screen and play around with this to see what these do. And as you know, if you see as the number gets higher, it's actually taking the font up off the screen. If I move it back, it's back on. So in this instance, it's off the screen, and you'll see I don't see it right now, but I wanted to animate it on. So with this, I'm going to utilize keyframing. If you mouse over this, it'll say add a keyframe. Keyframe is kind of an essential part of animation. Understanding keyframe is going to help you a lot down the road. So we want to add the keyframe. I'm going to hit plus. And so once I hit that, you notice there's like a little minus sign that shows up here. That's telling me if there's a keyframe. If I want to delete it, I can hit it again and it will delete that keyframe. If I want to reset it, you can reset it right here. Now I'm going to animate this on. I'm going to take my playhead to where I want Sunny to appear. So right about here. And then I'm going to make my adjustments and bring it back onto the screen. So here we go. Going the wrong way, pardon me. So here we go. I'm going to bring it right about here. All right, so check this out. So I'm going to hit play with the space bar. And now it says Sunny just like that. Pretty cool, right? All right, so in addition to that, say if I wanted it to come on and then I want it to grow larger as it comes on. So it comes on, I stop it here. I'm going to go and add another keyframe under my scale. And then I'm going to just move forward a little bit more in my timeline, and I'm going to zoom this up. Now watch what happens. Awesome. Now, you should have learned a couple things already with this. One is you should have learned how to mask your video, and then also how to make the other video that's underneath what's being masked show up by utilizing compound clips. Additionally, you should have an introduction of an understanding to keyframing. Keyframing is an essential part of what we're going to be doing here in this class, and it's something I really want you to understand, and we're going to be bringing it up a few times until we actually get it. So that's it for this particular video. If you have any questions, just come and see me, and I will be producing many, many more videos. I hope you have a great day, and thanks a lot.